Hi, this is Case Creative, where I talk about all things fiber arts, but knit and crochet. And today I'm going to be finding out how many beanies I can make in a week. I'm doing this to go through a lot of the leftover yarn I have from various different projects. I think my current plan right now is to focus on crocheting the beanies instead of knitting, because knitting just takes a lot longer. I kind of messed around with some patterns a little bit. The one that I'm wearing right now, which I'll link the pattern below, I really enjoyed, and it works up relatively quickly, which is what I want. I also have this knit beanie that's using some Lang's Cloud yarn that I have left over from two different sweaters. I only have this much left, and because it's a knit project, it's taking a lot longer than when I was doing the crochet project, but also taking up less yarn. So I feel like this is good for the amount of yarn I had left, but I want to try to make a lot over the next week, so I think I'm going to mainly focus on this crochet project. Now, I'm doing this because ultimately I want to send all of the stuff that I make to this organization called Knit the Rainbow, who they give out pieces like beanies, mittens, hats, I think also socks, to homeless LGBTQ youth and young adults up in the Northeast. I have a lot of various amounts left over that I feel like aren't fully enough to make a whole nother project. Like this is just was less than a ball of yarn left. And because I live in a warm climate, I don't really have a need for five beanies. I have a need for one. But right now, my current plan of action is to make another one of these beanies. I think I'm going to use the same gray yarn. And originally I was holding a double to make the yarn thick enough for the pattern, but I'm going to instead hold one gray with one of the white drops Nord to try to create a cool marbling effect. This one did take me 2-ish days roughly, so we'll see how many more I can make throughout the week. There's a lot going on this week. It's the week of Christmas. I'm also off of work, so I'll have a lot of time to do this, but I'm also, of course, doing fun things with family and friends with this time. Let's see how much I can end up making, and we'll see also how much yarn I use up. Throughout this, I'll also use a timer to track how long each of the beanies are going to take me, and I'm really curious to see how much faster I may get at it. So let's see what I can get up to over this next week. Hello, it is now Monday, and I have finished the gray and white beanie. It took me about 4.5 hours, and I'm starting a green version now with the Super Saver yarn that I had left over from this blanket that I made. For this green beanie, I'm using the measurements for my boyfriend's head versus this one was measurements for my head to try to have different size beanies to send. So we'll see how long this one ends up taking me. The yarn weight is also slightly different than these two held together. Yesterday with the Christmas lights was really fun, and also hanging out with friends, of course. And then tonight we're going to the hockey game, so we'll see what I can get done before the hockey game. Hello, it is now Tuesday. Been making some progress on this hat. I'm not quite finished yet. I'm 2 hours and 45 minutes in, but I should definitely be able to finish this up today. Today I'm also going to be making Christmas cookies. That will be later in the afternoon. The hockey game was really fun yesterday. We did win, so that was super cool. Yeah, we'll see how long it will take me to finish this up. And then I think after I finish this one, the next hat I'm gonna make will be using leftover yarn I have actually from the sweater I'm wearing right now. This was the first sweater that I made, and I definitely overestimated how much yarn I needed, so I have quite a bit left over, so I can definitely make a beanie out of it. All right, let's see how long it takes me to finish this green beanie. Hello, it is now Christmas Day, and I've finished a couple of different things since I last talked to y'all. So I have finished the green hat. This took me like 5 hours total, and like 20 minutes at the very least was just untangling yarn. So that was annoying, but it is finished. It is a little bigger than the other ones because I did use like my boyfriend's head to measure this one versus the other ones are like based off my size head. Um, but I would say it's not too different, just like a little bit bigger. I also picked up this again last night and finished it while watching The Polar Express. I did not time this one, so I don't know how long it took me. Also finished this blue hat. The blue hat did take me 4 hours and 30 minutes. So the crochet hats are pretty consistently taking me like 4 to 5 hours. My plans now for hats, I'm going to go and use up the remaining of this green yarn to make another hat. And then I have a brown yarn that I'm going to use to make another hat. And I have a feeling that may end up becoming my last hat that I make in this video. But we'll see where we get. Yeah, I'll be crocheting away for some more beanies, and we'll see how long this next one takes me. Hello, it is now the last day of the week. I started this on a Sunday, and it is now the following Sunday. So today is the last day I can get anything done for this little self-imposing challenge I set for myself. I have finished another green hat since I last talked to y'all, and that took me about 4 hours. I've also just started working up my very first sock. I was just feeling the repetitive nature of making so many beanies, and I wanted to try something new, and I was very excited to try out the double pointed needle set I got. So I do have a sock that I worked on and casted on. I finished up to like the heel turn and picking up the gusset stitches. But I'm going to put that aside for now and just focus on finishing the last hat that I want to do, which I'm going to be using this brown yarn from Line Brand Heartland that I had left over from a hexagon cardigan that I made. But this will end up being the last thing that I make to send off to Knit the Rainbow. And overall, I feel pretty good. I think that I have a solid amount of stuff to send off to them for a week's worth of time. Now let's see about me finishing this very last beanie, and we'll see if I can do it under 4 hours, because that's the fastest I've done it so far. Hello, so it has been quite some time since I last checked in. I just kind of got into a mode where I was relaxing and really just doing nothing for the past like couple weeks or so. When I last checked in, it was like December 28th, and it's now January 11th. I did not make any more hats, so the brown hat was indeed the last one that I made, and it took me about 3 hours and 30 minutes. I have packed all the hats to send off. I just need to go to the post office this week and send those off. But so overall, I'm going to be sending 6 hats off to them to go and be donated for some people to use and wear. And I was able to use up quite a bit of yarn and work through my yarn stash, which was also really nice. I definitely would do this again. I feel like I probably could continuously make hats until like the end of time. But overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to leave the link to both the pattern as well as this organization in the description below. The organization does have a bunch of free patterns for more than just hats. They have it for like socks, they have it for mittens, scarves, they have a bunch of stuff on there. So if you also had some yarn left over that's not enough to make a full piece that you want or you need, and you don't feel like you need any more accessories, then go ahead and check them out, or another organization out that would be similar in your area so you can make use of what you have. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment on what you're working on or what you might like to make and donate, and subscribe. Bye.